Sometimes a little change is good, no? It gives you the opportunity to move ahead in life, to grow and discover, to reach new bolder milestones, while still holding true to everything you stand for. IDBI Federal has now changed to AGS Federal. It's the same old company, but with a bold new outlook.
दिल्ली में बैठकर हैदराबाद से बिरयानी, ऐसी नवाबी जिंदगी। जस्ट माई रूट्स, लालच को पंख लगाओ, किसी भी शहर से खाना मंगाओ।
Hello and welcome to this very special edition of the Commonwealth Games series of Backstage with Boria, with somebody I've interviewed many a time, been around for a long time, and done a lot of great work for Indian badminton, many accolades for the country. Ashwini P, welcome again. Welcome again. Looking forward to seeing you in Birmingham, where I am at the moment. And once again, I mean, Indian badminton revolution is well and truly underway. You've been part of it. You've been part of it for a long time. Thoughts on the Commonwealth Games?
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be my 4th Commonwealth Games. I can't believe it's my 4th Commonwealth Games. But as you've mentioned, India is doing really well, especially with the recent Thomas Cup win. I think we are headed in the right direction, and I'm quite looking forward to how the Commonwealth Games would go.
You've been part of many winning exploits, whether it's the Uber Cup bronze, whether it's World Championships, so what is the change that you are seeing? I mean, in Indian badminton, now there is a kind of self-belief that we can win anybody. And you've been part of that process. Can you talk about that?
I mean, it is but natural, right? With the kind of performances we've had over the years, it is but natural that the next generation is going to pick up on the confidence that's built over the last decade, especially with a lot of players doing really well. It is but natural that we're going to have more players who are going to do well, and which is what we're seeing right now, because we have a lot of upcoming talent, a lot of new faces, a lot of really good performances. And I see badminton just going further up going forward.
If I can come to the CWG specifically, now that the Asian Games has been postponed to next year, does that make the CWG extra special and extra important for someone like you?
It does, especially because I'm not young as I was before. And I mean, being able to play my 4th Commonwealth Games is definitely a blessing. And I'm really happy that it hasn't been postponed, because it's very uncertain when events are postponed, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of months. So I'm really happy that the Commonwealth Games is going to go on as per schedule. And I think a lot of us who have been training and playing since COVID's happened and then the Olympics, it's quite nice to have a multi-sport event to look forward to.
How have you evolved as a player? I mean, I remember interviewing you last in Kolkata, interviewed you many times. You referred to the 4th Commonwealth Games 3 times already. How have you evolved as a player? I mean, you aren't old, so let's be clear about it. And how have you evolved over the last decade? Because I remember you and Jwala, then the mixed doubles, then the doubles. I mean, so many different highlights in your career already. So when I look at that, tell me about your own progression as a player.
I think I've grown leaps and bounds. I'm not who I was when I was back in 2010, because I was a fresher then who didn't have any experience. And from then until now, of course, I've got a lot of experience. But the difference this time around is that I've been selected as part of the Commonwealth Games team in the mixed doubles category. Unlike in the previous editions, I was playing women's doubles mostly, except for 2018, where I played both mixed doubles as well as women's doubles. It's quite different for me to have this different role where I'm only playing mixed doubles and I'm not really known much for my mixed doubles. But it is something that I'm really looking forward to, especially the fact that in the last couple of years, I have definitely worked on my mixed doubles game. I mean, it's quite different to see me taking charge at the net, because I've always been known as a player who's a backcourt player who covers the back. So that's something that I've definitely worked on quite a bit and I'm continuing to work on. And hopefully that's going to be good enough for us to do well at the Commonwealth Games.
Does it put more pressure on you? I mean, playing one event rather than two?
Not really, because in the past it was just women's doubles. If anything, this time around, there's not too much pressure because my partner Sumit Reddy and I, we've just started playing together. Although we had played together in the past in 2017 and we had a good run then. But we haven't had a lot of tournament or match practice. So it's going to be something that's we are, as a pair, really looking forward to, because you don't know what to expect, because we haven't played with most of the pairs in the last couple of years, especially since COVID. And the fact that we formed our partnership just end of last year. So we haven't had a lot of match practice. So it is something for us. I think it would be something that's quite a bit of a challenge, because otherwise you get to play a lot of matches and a lot of tournaments in the run up to an event like the Commonwealth Games. But of course, I also think it's kind of good because it makes us quite tricky, because no one really knows what to expect.
And when I talk of doubles and mixed, I mean, we aren't known for it, right? I mean, except you and Jwala, that partnership, and subsequently you over a long period of time. I mean, now, yes, with Satvik and Chirag, but India mostly known for its singles. So in that sense, I'm seeing doubles also evolve brilliantly, whether it's the Thomas Cup, whether it's, events like this. Your thoughts on that? I mean, it has to be a holistic thing, right, for us to evolve as a badminton powerhouse?
True, absolutely. I mean, of course, we need to grow in all events, and there is a steady rise in that, although we are quite far away from all the other countries, but we are headed in the right direction, although we're taking smaller steps than any other country would. But even one step is still closer than no other steps. So like you mentioned, we've got Satvik and Chirag who've done extremely well over the last couple of years, as well as we have quite a few new upcoming youngsters who are doing really well. So it's quite exciting, because we just don't have one pair who's being sent out for tournaments. We have more pairs. So they also have that opportunity to do well, which means we have more pairs rising.
So when you talk of the fourth games, I mean, and now I tend to think of, say, an Abhinav winning a medal in the third Olympics, so somebody winning, and it's always, so what, just make me understand, and with this experience, when you're going out on court with Sumit, you've been there, done that kind of thing, how does it help? Does it help in close situations, pressure situations, that you've been there, done that, you can control things better? How does it help an athlete?
I would say it definitely helps, because you know what to expect and you know how to handle pressure. But having said that, you also have really high self-expectations, which sometimes could be detrimental. But I think it's really important to be excited about the games. It is Sumit's first Commonwealth Games, so he's definitely excited. And I think it's really important for us to keep our head on our shoulders and do what we need to do and stay focused on what needs to be done. And that's what I would say, experience helps a bit, because you know what to expect and you don't get overly excited. And I think that's important.
That was actually the question, that Sumit's first, yours fourth. I mean, in that sense, you're the senior pro. In a sense, you'll have to guide maybe, or take the lead on occasions. Have you thought about such things, or do such things matter when you get into competition mode?
I haven't really thought about such things, because at the end of the day, we are in it together as a pair. It's not just me individually or Sumit individually, but together as a pair we've qualified. So we would definitely be working together. And on court, I think I am someone who speaks quite a bit. And fortunately, Sumit is someone who kind of lets me speak a lot. So I think we kind of balance things out on court that way. And hopefully that's going to help.
Lovely. Now, somewhat a macro question. Now, obviously, Gopi was on this show and I was recording with him. And he tells me, look, we've got 4,000 courts in Hyderabad, 6,000 in Bangalore. So you're actually seeing a kind of revolution. The introduction and subsequent improvement in sports science. How are you seeing all of it? I mean, give me a sense of what you've seen as a player over the last few years. How has badminton in India changed?
I would say there's definitely been a rise in badminton courts coming up and former players getting back into the sport. So a lot of players who had quit the sport years ago have all gotten back into the sport, either running their own courts or getting back into coaching. That means there is like this rise in badminton and there's a steady demand for coaches, and it's something that is really good. But I would say, as much as it's great to have a rise in the interest that's there for badminton, I would also say it's important to have like a steady I would say a structure, because we have a lot of courts, we have a lot of kids entering. That means entries for your All India and your state rankings are way higher than what it was in the past. So I think it's important at this stage to like structurize badminton in a way everyone knows what needs to be done in order to get to the top. And it's there, it's laid out for everyone to see, so that anyone who's picking up a racket and who's interested in like pursuing badminton as a career knows what the steps need to be taken in order to like get to the top.
You know, one thing, for example, the Thomas Cup win happened in the middle of the IPL. If I remember from memory, it was on the 15th of May, and the IPL was on in full swing. Despite that, it was the national headline. The IPL was relegated to being the second headline in the sports pages. Now, that is telling you a story. That Olympic sport, in this case badminton, an international competition win, beating cricket to a second headline in India, would have been unheard of a couple of years back. That, for me, gives me tremendous hope about Olympic sport. Thoughts on that?
It's incredible. It's remarkable that that happened. And I think the whole point of the Thomas Cup win was to have that impact, because the Thomas Cup has been around for 73 years. And this is the first time the Thomas Cup team from India is medaling, and not just medaling, they medaled with a gold. So the fact that it had the desired impact was really important. And all of us players were definitely hoping that it had the impact that it deserved. And I'm really glad that it did, because that speaks volumes. And that definitely means that, okay, badminton is out there, especially as an Olympic sport. To have come on top with the headlines, that's awesome.
Fabulous. Last few questions. When you travel to, say, an All England, I mean, obviously, a lot of you still travel together. I mean, whether it's you playing the mixed or the doubles, so, you know, Sindhu and singles players. But when you travel to a CWG as a team, or a Thomas Cup, or an Uber Cup, or a Sudirman Cup, or an Olympic, what is the difference? I mean, from a Super Series tournament to a multi-sporting national team tournament, how is it different, if at all? And how are roles differentiated? And somebody like you, a senior player, you know, with maybe say a Gayatri Gopichand or somebody, a junior, relatively junior player, how does it help? Can you explain that a little bit?
I would say, I mean, I wouldn't really put the Olympics and the All England in line with the Thomas Cup and the Commonwealth Games, only because we've got team events in both these events. The All England and the Olympics is purely individual. Although we travel as a team, each one is looking out for their own event. But that's the difference where Thomas Cup, Uber Cup and the Commonwealth Games team event is, because although we're also individually playing our events, we come together and form a team and play as a team. So it's very, very, very different. I mean, I would say for me, it's extremely fun. I love the pressure. I love taking on the responsibility of having to like secure a point for our team. And also it's a very different role. So I think one of the best things that I've seen in the past couple of years is the fact that all our different events are coming together for the for our team events. And I think that's really important, because it's no longer about, it's not me, myself and I. It's us. Let us get together. Let us play together. Let us be a team, let us win for India. And that's the mantra that's going on, which I really love. And I saw that at the last 2018 Commonwealth Games, where all of us came together and we played together as a team. Like I said, otherwise each of us are playing individually. So we're just focused on our event. Most of us are focused on our event. And once our event's done, we're gone. But during these team events, it's beautiful to see how all of us come together. We're cheering for each other, we're training together. And it's no longer about us as individual, but more about us as Team India. And I love the fact that we're getting there, where we're all preparing as a team. I remember the Thomas Cup team, before they left for the Thomas Cup, they were dining together and building that team spirit. And I would say that is the change that I've seen over the last couple of years, where all of us are coming together and being more together for our team events as opposed to in the past.
Fantastic answer. Fantastic answer. That brings me to my last question. I mean, when you mentioned 2018, when you see the Tricolor go up, describe that for me, because that's something that I've lived for as a sports scribe, as an academic, as a journalist. When I see that Tricolor go up and you just want to write about it, you are there, you are making that happen. Talk to me about that.
I think that's one of the best feelings ever, and that is something all of us train for day in, day out throughout the year for years, because it's for the moments like that make it worth it, make all the hard work and all the effort that we're putting in worth it, because those moments don't come too often. So when they do come, it's really precious.
Ashwini Ponappa, you make that happen in Birmingham, and we are celebrating together, because that's what we will do. Hopefully
Definitely.
this country now has very little COVID in England. So hopefully it'll spare us and we can have another interview and celebrate together. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you
Look forward
so
to
much.
cheering you from the galleries in Birmingham. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
so
for your
much.
time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thanks.